What's in the case?
Vincent! We happy?
Yeah, we happy.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the What's in the Briefcase podcast. I'm Jacob.
I'm Joseph.
I'm Kevin.
And today we're talking about Schrödinger's cat. And if you don't know about Schrödinger's cat, it's basically a thought experiment by Erwin Schrödinger. And the idea of it is there's poisonous food or poisonous gas or unstable gunpowder in a bunker with the cat. And until we look in the bunker, we lock the bunker, and until we look in the bunker, we don't know if the cat is dead or alive. So if the experiment is done enough times, half of the times the cat's alive, and half the time the cat is dead. So our looking into the bunker forces nature to collapse into one decision, which is dead or alive. Therefore, curiosity killed the cat. And if you don't look into the bunker, you're ignorant. So today's topic is ignorance bliss. So yeah, what are our initial thoughts?
It depends on the situation. And one thing I like to think about with this is hot dogs.
Okay.
Because, listen, I know hot dogs are unhealthy. We all know that, right?
Right.
Yes.
They're not good for you. But I'm eating it because it tastes good, right? And then people are like, but you know all the stuff that they put in the hot dogs, all the it's disgusting. If you looked at the process, you never want to eat it. Listen, just don't look at the process. Problem solved, right?
Yeah, and I think a situation like not voting or being ignorant to politics is harmful because you can make a change with your vote, and you're not doing that.
No, I think in that case, ignorance is definitely not the best way to do it. However, I think it can be argued that somebody that doesn't know too much about politics, so they act sort of like, I'm voting for this guy because he's my guy and I just like him. I feel like you could argue that person might be happier than the person making the informed decision.
Right. So I guess it depends on whose perspective you're looking at. Because if you're looking at the person's voting their perspective, I would say that you just said that they'd be happier because they don't really know as much and they think they're doing the right thing. But in reality, it may not be the right decision, and he may be hurting our country.
I had a first year seminar, right, where it was like an ethics seminar, and it was this guy. It's a story about this guy he's basically like a religious scholar, right? And he's always trying to figure out what's moral and what's not moral, and he's always thinking about it, and he's complaining, and he's saying, listen, everything, I'm thinking about all this stuff, and I'm not happy, but I have this neighbor who's a complete, idiot. She doesn't think about any of it. She doesn't think about why she believes in what she believes in, but as long as she gets some, holy water from the holy river and bathes in it once a year, she's happy. Why is she happy when she's stupid? When I'm unhappy when I'm smart.
Yeah. So I guess the question is, what makes us happy? Because you're saying you can be ignorant but happy. So what should the right thing be?
Maybe it has to do with what your goal is, because your goal might not be to be happy. Maybe you feel like you have like in the case of the voting, you have an obligation to society as a whole to make an informed decision, right?
Well, some people say you don't have a obligation.
Oh, I guess that's another. Again, it has to do with what your motive is,
Right.
Because if you don't feel like you have that obligation, maybe you're less inclined to do research.
Right. So Joseph, what do you think?
Yeah, the ignorance is bliss definitely depends on the situation. It truly does, because from a political standpoint, yeah, it's actually kind of important. You need to be informed to actually benefit or ruin our country. Or from a personal standpoint, like with Kevin and the hot dogs, for example, I remember me and my mom would a long time ago, my mom would always just buy packaged hamburgers, right? Packaged turkey patties that are already in a box, right? And then one day, one of my friends told me, hey, did you know that they put rat DNA in packaged burgers? I'm like, you serious?
Rat DNA?
Yeah, they found rat DNA in packaged hamburger packets.
So they're saying there's rats in there.
So you serious? I'm like, see, now I gotta go tell my mom, and now I can't eat. And ever since then, my mom has always gone ground turkey meat or ground beef and made her own patties. Ever since then.
You know, like I was at a food court with my family, and I think I told this to Jacob. Actually, I think it was, or I'm mixing up all my names. It was, you know, that awesome mall, the awesome one with the crazy weird jungle gym thing that you wear. You know what I'm talking about, Jacob?
Oh, the Palisades Mall.
Yeah. It was there, and I was eating there with my family, and I think I told you about it, and you said, "Yeah, there are rats there," or it may have not been you. Was that you?
Yeah, it was me.
Yeah, and there are rats there, and I'm like, I'm not saying that to my family. I don't want to say that. We had a great experience. I don't want the idea of rats. To the Palisades, don't sue us. We're just rumors. We're just talking. We're just little boys. Don't sue us. But yeah. So in that case, in a sense, I feel like ignorance, just because, you know, we didn't get sick or anything, right? It could go into our future decision, but in retrospect, I'm not trying to blame you or anything. It's just, it's funny because in that way, I almost felt like, I wish I didn't know that.
No, well, I've eaten there too, like, and I'm sorry if I ruined your experience.
No, you didn't. You didn't.
Yeah, like, I've eaten there too, like I know there's rats, but I'm also like ignorant to, and like other.
How do you know? Did someone tell you?
Well, I'm pretty sure it's just a known thing. I haven't seen them, but I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah, it also reminds me of this local pool that everyone who lives in my city knows about, right?
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
it's called Lincoln Pool, and it was like every year, you know, every summer camp I went to, we used to swim in there. But then like one person told me, yeah, a lot of people pee in that pool, like
yeah. I knew you were going there with that.
I was like, okay, no. Ever since then, every single time we go there, I avoid going in that water.
As a kid, I loved swimming in pools. Now, I haven't swam in a pool just because, like, honestly, I ran out of, like, when I was younger, it was easier to have, like, friends who'd want to go to a pool. And when I was older, like, that didn't really come up as much.
Also, there's no summer camps or adults.
I never went to summer camp, but,
What?
Yeah.
Oh.
But anyways, the pool. Now, when I think of a pool, I'm like, oh, no, I'm not going in there. Look at all those kids in there. You want me to go in there? And, you know, I feel like that's an example of ignorance being bliss, because it's not like the pool's more dangerous or anything, you know? Right?
Yeah, you know, I eat rice a lot. Like my brother, like I love rice. I eat all the time, like almost every meal. And my brother goes, you know, they put plastic in rice.
Oh, that can't be right.
No, like to like make it look like there's more rice, but the plastic's not harmful. So
no.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay,
So
I don't feel.
in that case, I'm like, I don't want to eat plastic, but at the same time, like, I'd rather not know that.
I don't believe that. I think that's a case where ignorance isn't bliss, because I think he's lying to you.
Well, I don't know about that. I could ask him. He's probably listening. Hi, Adam. But
Adam, why did you lie?
I'm so glad you didn't ruin pasta for me, because I love pasta, man. Don't.
Yeah, you didn't say anything about pasta, so you're good.
Yeah, I just searched it up. I'm pretty sure it's a myth.
Okay. Well, anyway, so I guess in that case, I'd rather not know that, and ignorance will be bliss because I love.
No, that's not ignorance being bliss though, because if it's a myth that plastics in rice, that means ignorance is not bliss. It's better to know.
Yeah, but let's assume it's true. I'd rather not know that.
Yeah, if it was true.
Yeah, right. So I thought what we could also do is, since the last episode we talked about Taxi Driver, we can maybe relate ignorance to Travis Bickle, because he basically ignored like everything. Like he didn't follow politics, and he
ignored anything that would have given him a greater context in life, and even further than that, he purposely exposed himself to everything bad.
Right.
So I think that's another example of ignorance being bliss, because he's taking a job. For one thing, in the movie, they make a pretty good note that he actually has a lot of money. He buys all of those guns, right? So
has very little stuff in his apartment.
Right.
He seemed like a materialistic guy. Just buying stuff.
Yeah. So it's not like he had to do that job, is my point. He had enough money to save and maybe invest in a different thing. But in that movie, he purposely chooses the taxi job because it exposes him to the worst kind of people. And I think in that case, ignorance would have been bliss for Travis because, and I feel like we shouldn't get too into it because maybe not all the viewers watching this podcast saw the movie unlike the last episode where they would have expected it. So I don't think we should get too further into the plot. But in the case of Travis, I feel like it was detrimental to his health, the job he chose.
But technically, it kind of worked out for him in his favor by the end of it. Like
in his favor by the end, but we shouldn't say anything about the end of it.
But that's all I'm gonna say about it. That's
it.
I'm not gonna say anything else. But ignorance is bliss can also be harmful on like a medical level, because like there are some people who are like so religious to the point where like if anyone in their family is sick, they're like no, they don't need medical attention. No.
They heal them with the power of prayer.
I'm saying I'm a believer, but again, there is medicine, there are doctors for a reason. I'm like, if someone is dying of pneumonia, like you take them to a doctor, get them some medicine. Like they need help.
Look.
And that point, ignorance is harmful to not.
If you don't take this person to the doctor, they will die. It's not bliss for you to be ignorant of that because your relative or loved one is going to die.
Well, for them, it's bliss. I'm like, yes, no, Jesus will heal them. We don't need your
Yeah, but it's bliss until the person dies, right? Doesn't that rock their faith if they don't?
No, because then they'll tell us it wasn't meant to be. I'm like, oh, okay, but you could have done something.
Yeah.
I think this goes into the conversation of predestination versus free will, and we shouldn't really get into that. But but it reminds me of this joke my grandpa always tells, which is this guy's stranded in an ocean and he's praying. He says, "Please God, send me a boat. Send me something to save me." So a boat comes by, and he says, or like someone comes by and says, "Hey, you want a ride?" And he goes, "Oh no, God's gonna save me. God's gonna send a boat." And then the guy leaves, and then another thing comes, and he says, "No, God's gonna save me. I'll be fine." He dies, and he goes to heaven, and then he
went to heaven.
Yeah, okay. So he's with God in heaven. He says, "God, why didn't you save me?" And God says, "I did. I sent you 2 boats."
I was thinking that was gonna be it.
Yeah, no, like
what do you want me to do? Do you want me to like send you angels? No, I just sent you people. I mean, God.
Like, but then when like with factoring in ignorance is bliss also can affect like when people have secrets. Like, for example, like so say if someone say if a recent relative has passed away, and you have like a little kid who doesn't really understand the forms of death, you kind of don't want to tell them, but then you kind of
it'll just ruin it.
Because the longer you wait, the harder it's gonna be, and you're just like,
That is an interesting. Something I've encountered actually recently, and it sounds stupid, but there was a YouTuber I watched. There was a YouTuber I watched, and recently, as you guys may have heard with a bunch of YouTubers, it turned out that he had been he's being accused of some sexual misconduct, right? And should I say his name, or is that like? It was Cryotic. And I know it sounds silly just talk about a Let's Play channel, but this guy is someone who I watched in middle school and high school during very formative years of my life. And it was like Game Grumps for you, Joseph, right? Is what it was like for me. And then I found out recently that he had been exchanging sexually charged text conversations, including possibly sending pictures of his own genitalia to people who are underage, and this has been going on for years. And it's good that I know this, right? It's good that people know this, because that means this guy's going to have less ability to do this if he was to do it in the future. but I couldn't help but feel like all these memories, fond memories I had of this entertainer are like tainted.
Right. I think also it has to do, like Joseph was mentioning secrets, and I think
Right.
it also has to do with like a cheating partner or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, because like
Say
do
they
you
cheat
really?
one time, and I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, it's fine. But no, it's like if your partner's cheating on you, like do you really I'd probably want to know. But some
Yeah,
people may not want to know, and for them, ignorance in that case would be bliss because they don't want to know. They just want to keep living.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, The Weeknd in his newest album, After Hours, he actually made a song about that, like uh, In Your Eyes. So the whole song is he knows the whole song is about he knows his girl is cheating on him, but he's so in love with her that he's willing to forget all of that and just stay in the ignorance that she's being faithful to him and because he loves her so much.
and it's interesting when you consider that sometimes a relationship is tanked because of something that could have happened 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Maybe like 20 years ago, someone got drunk, they had a fling. They didn't talk about it for 20 years, right? They never repeated the behavior. Then they find out, but it's not like this is a different person than the person you've been interacting with for 20 years. It's just the only
Yeah,
difference is that this person cheated on you once. But it's still, and I'm not saying people don't have the right to be angry. I think it's understandable because that means you can't really trust the person, especially if they
yeah,
had lied to you for so long. Uh, but in that case, you could argue you'd just be happier not knowing, right?
Right.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, when it comes to secrets and like ignorance is bliss of secrets, you see a lot of that in media and like TVs and movies. I can list like countless movies, TV shows, and video games where characters kept a secret from someone and they were like hurt after the secret was told. Doesn't matter.
Maybe, yeah. I'm sorry, never mind.
It doesn't matter what the secret was or how small or big it affected their lives or whatever. It still hurt worse because they didn't tell them immediately or
Because
right
that
away.
impacts your trust of the person. It could be
Yeah,
someone you trusted as a brother or sister or whatever before, and then because they kept the secret, the best relationships are founded on the truth because they're the sturdiest. Uh, and secrets tear that apart.
So
But
if someone
the
was distrustful toward you, you'd want to know the truth.
but what do you mean?
Like if someone kept something from you that happened, you'd want to know what actually happened.
I think I should. I think I have the right to, and I
Right.
think that if I could find out later without them telling me, and if I find out later all on my own, it's way worse because that makes me think they were never going to tell me. If they tell me themselves, that makes me think if they tell me themselves with like not under duress or anything, like maybe they're telling me just because they think they're going to be exposed by someone else, but they tell me themselves just completely of their own volition. Um, I can trust them more. I still keep in mind I'm trusting them less than if they never deceived me, but it's more than if they continued to deceive me.
Right. Because I think some people would definitely just be like, whatever, they're my best friend, whatever it is. Like they're my wife, they're my partner. And
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they would say that's my person. I'm just gonna turn a blind eye. Like
But
that's
the thing is, you
mm,
question whether they're really the same person you thought they were,
right.
right?
yeah. Hey, quick question. What if you because in a lot of situations where people keep secrets from someone to have them ignorant to the experience, a lot of people use the excuse. A lot of people say like, I just wanted to protect you. What do you think about that? When you say I wanted to do that to protect you from what do you think about that? When people say, oh, I
I
wanted
think
to
it's
protect you from it.
usually, not always, but a lot of the time at least, maybe not usually, but a lot of time that's BS because I think the person is more trying to protect themselves from the consequences of keeping the secret, right?
Well, I think in their case, they're thinking ignorance is bliss, so I'm not gonna tell them.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the secret. Now that I think of it, maybe that's not fair what I
Yeah,
just said because maybe the secret is somebody never met their one of their parents, right? And then they're like, oh, your father was a sailor, he was a soldier, when really like he wasn't or something. I'm thinking honestly of Gotham, TV show Gotham.
Yes, I love that show.
Yeah, they said Jerome's parent, they said to Jerome was the first one, right? The first of the two brothers.
I think, or was it Jeremiah?
Well, whatever. I'm sorry, we shouldn't get off. But like I don't know, or just something that's not to the liar's own necessary benefit. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because if it directly profits the liar, that means their goal may be less altruistic. If that makes sense. And I do think there are times where it's better to lie. Like if your wife is like pregnant and is feeling very emotionally vulnerable and she asks, do I look fat right now? And she does. It's like, come on.
No, yeah,
Don't lie about that. She's not going to look fat in a few months. Come on. I mean, it's okay. Just do it.
Actually, one example I thought of how like someone actually might be genuinely actually genuinely care when they keep people ignorant is this animated movie made by Warner Brothers called Smallfoot.
Is it a spoiler?
Do you mind if I spoil it? It's an anime.
Well, the viewers might.
It's an animated movie. It came out a few years ago. At this point, if you haven't, it's not that great.
What do we do, Jacob? You're in charge. What do we do?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, viewers, cover your ears for like 2 minutes or something if you don't want to be spoiled.
So the whole point of the movie is that everyone, it's about a group of like a village of Yetis, right? And you have the leader called the Stonekeeper. So he keeps telling everyone, these made up stories, all to keep them from the fact that humans don't exist. And like humans, like they're on a floating island in the sky. Humans don't exist because in actuality, humans chased them up the mountain and tried to kill them because they were different. So for years he kept them ignorant to the fact that there was something below their mountain in order for because each leader thought they were keeping their people safe from us.
So to keep them happier, essentially.
Yeah, to keep them happy. But then like towards the end of the movie they realize the point that living in truth is better than living in a lie, because at one point you're gonna find out the truth one way or another. Someone's gonna find out.
It's a similar plot in the premise of a film, very good film, has to do with a lot of things about ignorance and theology. It's called Sausage Party. And
oh my God, no! What to avoid that?
I actually haven't seen the film. I haven't, but I know
What?
a lot of it
Oh
has
my
to do
God.
with they're just lying to the food products.
Kevin, yeah.
I haven't seen it though. Is it good? Should I watch that?
No, it's hilarious. Maybe we can all do like a.
We'll do a
screen share
podcast.
and watch
Okay,
it.
next step.
No, we're not
No,
talking
it's
about
not.
that movie. It's way too inappropriate.
Okay.
No,
but that's a thing in the movie, right? Isn't that like a huge theme of the movie?
Yeah.
Lying to these food products that the humans aren't gonna. Is that a spoiler? I feel like that's just a
No,
premise.
it's not.
No, it wasn't a trailer.
Okay, so they're just lying to the food products, and they're saying when the humans take you away from the supermarket, you're ascending, when really, we're eating the hot dogs.
Wait, actually, you know what I just thought of? I think I had an epiphany. So, I think Ignorance is Bliss can also apply to Toy Story. Hear me out. So throughout the Toy Story franchise, Andy loved Woody, right? And Woody loved Andy. So throughout the entire franchise, we know that the toys freeze around kids. But at any point in time, Woody or any of the toys could have exposed themselves to the fact that they were alive.
Right.
And because they let Andy stay ignorant to that fact, and their new owner Bonnie, they were hurt, or they were hurt from it. So, for example, in the third film, right, Andy is going to college, and he puts them in a garbage bag and is about to put them in the attic. But since they stayed to stay frozen, his mom thought they were actual bag of garbage and set them out on a curb. So if they didn't choose to let people be ignorant to the fact that they're just toys, things would be a lot different for them.
But you know, I think that's actually an okay analogy, because it's showing how the lying, even though you're trying to protect someone else, can actually hurt yourself in a way that's not necessarily fair. You know,
Right.
because I think the toys do that in the movie for the benefit of their owners, but that ultimately hurts themselves in the third film. In that case, really, what they should do is they should all come to life like Chucky and lead the revolution.
That's a great point, Kevin.
Mhm.
So also, I think ignorance has to do a lot with like the afterlife, because no one really knows what happens when you die. And I mean, is that a good thing? Is it a good thing we don't know? Because I think if we hold on, if we knew, then we'd overthink everything. I feel like.
Yeah, and also if we knew what actually happens after we die, we would probably spend most of our lives trying to do things out of our normal pace to change what happens after we die. So like depending on like what happens and depending on what you believe, because like for some people who believe in like reincarnation or whatever, some versions of reincarnation, like if you're a good person and
You
in
get
this
good
life,
karma.
you get to go into a better life, or if you're a bad person.
What's wrong with that? I think it's good to be able to make informed decisions. It's say like a lot of, I don't mean to make generalizations, so forgive me if I am, but a lot of Catholics believe like there's certain criteria, and if you don't meet this criteria, you're going to hell. You're burning forever, right? How is it fair for me not to know that, to be like the exact truth? And I mean, I'm personally, full discretion, I'm personally an atheist, right? And so I don't really believe in anything after, but I think that if there is something after, I have the right to know so I don't mess up and affect myself forever. Because in the case of the Catholicism, I got one chance. And if I mess that one chance up, I'm done. It's over. It's game over, guys. In the case of reincarnation, it would be way better if we knew 100% for a fact that reincarnation was the thing, because then we could all reach, in the belief systems of reincarnation to have nirvana, we'd all be able to reach nirvana way faster if we all knew the exact procedures that we'd have to do.
True. But also we wouldn't, but like also if everyone knew that, like, you know, if we do good stuff now, we get better stuff later, people wouldn't be living out of pure free will. People would just be living out of pure fear of not getting anything bad, like just pure straight up fear of, like,
people
not getting
already
anything
do
bad.
that, don't they? In religion, like in different religions, they follow rules.
Yeah, but like that's because it's a choice. Like we choose to do that. We want to. It's want to. But like, if everyone knows, that, like, oh yeah, if you do this, like, oh no, oh man, I can't mess this up. No.
True, because in different religions, right, people there believe that if they don't follow this, they're going to have a positive consequence or a negative consequence. The only difference is in this other situation where everyone knows, it's just more people are properly enlightened. Well, yeah. Jacob, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think this goes also into predestination of free will, because if we know what happens, then it would be predestination. And just like Joseph said, we wouldn't really have free will. Well, I guess you'd have free will in a predestined way. But yeah, I don't know. I think this is a good conversation for another episode, which is predestination versus free will.
Okay, so are we wrapping up at this point?
Yeah, I think we can wrap up. So
okay.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Before we conclude, oh yeah, you're Jake. No, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm Jacob.
Joseph. I'm Kevin.
I'm Joseph.
I've been eating watermelon this entire episode, and the other two have had to watch me on video chat shove it into my gullet. And you as viewers didn't have to watch that because you were blissfully ignorant.
Yes, good point, Kevin. Nice.
I didn't even know you're eating watermelon. I thought you're still eating cheese and beans.
No, I finished. I finished that.
Okay,
Oh.
bye guys.
Yeah, bye-bye.